A very good morning, children. How are you all? Hope you are doing really fine. Hope you enjoyed and also understood the previous class which we had on the food chains and also the levels in the food chain. Especially we had a discussion about producers, herbivores, carnivores and recyclers or decomposers, right? So now what the topic we are going to see today is the changes in the ecosystem. Okay, so now here in the changes in the ecosystem, the complete topic is based on this particular line. Okay, you can see the line here. Organism affect their environment to meet their needs. So each and every organism to meet their needs, right? Whatever they do to meet their needs, that will affect the environment. Okay, so basically these organisms to meet their needs, they always go on doing some kind of changes. Okay, now these changes which they make, that will affect the environment. Okay, that is the reason why we have written the point here, that is organisms affect their environment to meet their needs. So what they will affect the environment in such a way that, okay, they have to meet their needs. So whatever the small changes they do, that will make the ecosystem completely stable. That will balance the ecosystem. To understand this much better, we'll go ahead with one small example. Okay, children. So here, whatever the changes are there, some of the changes also sometimes affect the organisms which are living in that habitat. For example, if some of the organisms are eating the plants and all, now that will cause a kind of scarcity for the organisms which are depending upon the plant. So some animals may get affected because there are no proper plants to eat. So that is how, we'll try to understand this particular point through one small example. So all of you look at the board. Now for example, I'm taking a garden here. Okay, a garden here. There are several insects. Right? So many insects are living here. That means the number of insects are very high. Okay, they are very high in number. Okay, more in number. Now, when the insects are very high in number, now in the same habitat, there are birds. Which are also in good number. Now, what is the work of the birds? Birds are they feed, they depend upon the insects, right? So what they will do is they will start eating the insects. So if all the insects are eaten, the ecological balance will disturb, isn't it? The ecosystem will get disturbed. So for to balance the ecosystem, what the nature does is, right, what happens here, we'll see now. So if now these all birds will start depending upon the insects which are here. So what happens is, naturally the population of the insects will decrease. So what will happen is, now it is not balanced, right? Because here the insects population is completely decreased. Okay, now there are number of birds and also very less number of insects. Number of birds is the number of birds is very high, but whereas when you come to the insects, the number has become completely low. So now what happens here is, as the number has become completely low here, what happens is all the birds they will maximum number of birds, because there is scarcity of food here, because the food is completely less here, they will try to move away from this place to the other place. So they will migrate to other place, they will go to other habitats. So what happens is, now the insects number which is very low has now a very good chance to increase in their number, so that will be balanced. So when these number will get increased, what happens again, when the number is increased, then birds number will also increase, and again these birds will start eating the insects. And what happens now? Insects number population will become low, it will become very less, and the same thing will repeat, right? Then the birds will go to the other places for the food, and by that time the number of insects will increase. So this is how the ecological system is balanced. The ecosystem is balanced. We call this as ecological balance. So that is how the ecosystem will get balanced. Now we'll take one more example. For example, there is a forest. Okay, there are some deers. There are some deers and tigers. Now what is the work of tigers? Tigers will hunt to kill they will hunt the deers, right? They will depend upon the deers, they will hunt the deers. So now if tigers are completely depending upon the deers and all, no, a day will come where tigers number is very good, deers number is very good, and tigers are more powerful than the deers. So what happens is tigers will come and eat the deers, they will hunt the deers, and now what happens is deers population will become very low. Okay, now at this time the tigers, now they have two chances, right? They have to survive because they need energy, they require food. So what happens is they will start fighting among themselves for the food. Ultimately some of the tigers will die, or some of the tigers will leave that habitat and will go to some other place. So as the number of tigers decrease, now there is a very good chance for the deers number to increase. So at this time the number of deers will increase, right? As the number of deers is increasing, okay, now it is increased. So now what happens is the tigers, okay, the tiger population also will start increasing, whereas here it has become completely low. Now it also will start increasing. So when it starts increasing, now again they will depend upon the deers. Again the deers population will become very low. So some of the tigers will fight among with each other, some will leave the habitat. Again tigers population will become low. This is how they will maintain the balance of the population. We need not do anything in this, right? So we are not balancing anything. The nature itself is balancing the ecosystem. So this is how ecosystem is balanced. Now sometimes there will be a complete disturbance in the ecosystem. Just assume when there is an earthquake, when there is a tsunami, when there are some cyclones, when there are some strong winds and all, when trees fall down, when there are some forest fires, and also the ecosystems will get disturbed at that time. Okay, so it will affect the habitat in a great way. It will affect the ecosystem in a great way. It will affect the number of animals which are living in that particular ecosystem in a great way. Not only the natural calamities like powerful storms or earthquakes or tsunamis, they are bringing the change in the ecosystem, but now man has also become one of the reason to bring the change in the ecosystem. So he is also becoming very selfish day by day. Maybe it's a deforestation, maybe overpopulation, maybe global warming. So all these are the things and all know which are completely destroying the ecosystem, which is completely showing its negative aspect on the ecosystem. So that is how even man is becoming a reason for the ecosystem to get disturbed. Isn't it, children? What is ecosystem? Which part you can call it as ecosystem? Ecosystem can be a small portion, okay, or it can be a huge forest. Okay, ecosystem may be a very small portion also, or ecosystem may be a very huge portion, of maybe like a dense forest also. Okay, and now you know which is the biggest ecosystem here? Our biosphere. Our biosphere is the largest ecosystem present on the earth. So now here we cannot learn the ecosystem if it is as large as biosphere. So if you have to learn about the ecosystem, if you have to read the biosphere, no, it will take a long time. So what we have done here is for example, let me give you a small example. You have to pass 10th class. So nursery itself will not give you the all classes books, and also we have divided them so that you can understand each and every syllabus, you can understand each and every subject. Okay, and that is the reason why you have all the classes from 1st to 10th. Even the subjects also, they are divided in such a way that you can understand that particular topics in that particular age and also in that academic year. In the same way, if you have to learn the biosphere in such a way, the ecosystem, okay, this largest ecosystem called as biosphere in such a way, it is not that possible. So what we have done here is, what the scientists have done here is, they have divided the ecosystem into certain parts. Okay, children. So what we are going to study about is the certain divisions of the ecosystem. Due to the biotic factors and also abiotic factors, that is living organisms and also the air, water, soil. So due to the presence of the abiotic factors and also the biotic factors, that is living organisms and the soil, air and water and all the other things and all. No, like different ecosystems will develop in different ways. Like different ecosystems are formed. The organisms, they have to interact with the other abiotic factors around them. So if they are living in the place where, for example, if you take only water, the organisms have to live in such a way that they perfectly interact with the water. So the organisms which live in the water, okay, they will be completely habituated to live in the water. For example, if you take the animals which are living on the land, they have their own characters, isn't it? So they have modified their body, they have changed their body in such a way to suit to that particular ecosystem. Basically, you can see the different types of ecosystems here. Like the complete ecosystem. Like actually we thought that biosphere is the large ecosystem. So as we cannot read the biosphere on a whole, so that's why what we have done is we have divided them into two ecosystems. One is natural ecosystem and second one is the artificial ecosystem. So here natural ecosystem is the ecosystem which we always look into, right? The first one right now, natural ecosystem, again it is divided into two. One is the terrestrial ecosystem and second one is the aquatic ecosystem. So when you come to the terrestrial ecosystem, what is terrestrial ecosystem? The land ecosystem is called as the terrestrial ecosystem. Land in the sense, again, forests come into that, okay, grasslands come into that, deserts come into that, okay. So all the land areas, whatever they are on the earth, they all come into the terrestrial ecosystem. And coming to the aquatic ecosystem, aquatic in the sense, aqua in the sense water. So whatever the water which is present on the earth, okay, the complete system is called as the aquatic ecosystem. And again, if you want to learn about the terrestrial ecosystem, again it is divided into three. The land ecosystem, okay, the terrestrial ecosystem or the land ecosystem is divided into three here. One is the grassland ecosystem, okay, and second one is the desert ecosystem, and third one is the forest ecosystem, because these three are different from each other. Okay, the organisms which live in the desert are different, which live in the forests are different, which live on the grasslands. Now regular grasslands are also different from each other. So you can see a lot of difference in this three. So we are not going to read as a terrestrial ecosystem, but we have divided them into grassland, forest and desert ecosystem. So we are going to learn about these three different kinds of ecosystems. And when you come to the aquatic ecosystem, so you can see different types of water here, right? If you go to the oceans and seas, what you will find? What kind of water you will find? You will find the salt water. Okay, when you come to the ponds and lakes, and also you will find the normal sweet water. So here what is the difference you can see here is, you can see the fresh water as well as the salt water. So now that is the reason why we have divided the aquatic ecosystem into freshwater ecosystem and the marine water ecosystem. Marine in the sense here salt water. So which water bodies come into the marine ecosystem? One is the seas and second one is the oceans. Both of them comes under the marine ecosystem. Okay, all the ponds, lakes, streams, rivers, all these four, they come under the freshwater ecosystem. So here freshwater ecosystem in the sense ponds, lakes, rivers. Here marine water in the sense seas, oceans. So these are the, okay, this is how you can see the aquatic ecosystem is divided. So first one is the total largest ecosystem is the biosphere. So we have divided them into natural ecosystem and the artificial ecosystem. So we are not going to learn about the artificial ecosystem now. Okay, so we will read it as a whole. So now here coming to the natural ecosystem. So this natural ecosystem is again divided into terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. So when you come to the terrestrial ecosystem, you have the grasslands, you have the forest, and also the desert ecosystems. So when you come to the aquatic ecosystem, there are freshwater ecosystem and marine water ecosystem. So in the freshwater ecosystem, you can take the pond ecosystem, lake is an ecosystem, and also rivers is an ecosystem. And whereas here in the marine water, seas are a different ecosystem and oceans are also different ecosystem. So this comes under the marine water, okay, marine water ecosystem, you can say. Otherwise you can say it will be like marine ecosystem. So here freshwater ecosystem and here marine ecosystem. So this is about the ecosystems, right? So okay children, so this is the introduction about the natural ecosystem and the artificial ecosystem and their divisions. Okay, so this is a flow chart which you ought to draw in your classbooks or the homeworks. Okay, so this is very important, so because we are going to learn about each and every ecosystem in the coming classes. Okay children, so we'll meet in the next class, next session, with the mangrove ecosystem and also the biotic components and the abiotic components which are present in that particular ecosystem, along with the desert ecosystem and the forest ecosystems. Until then children, see you all, have a great day, take care.